I would like to tell you a journey, and our journey started 3 years ago when we find out that there is a huge market in the chatbot area that we can try, and the try is a very important thing. We can try to automate language detection and try to give the automated answers to the people. So this was our bold approach. Okay, hey, we can do it, and we can do it in Polish language. So how foolish we were, and how foolish it was for us. But after 3 years, we learned a lot, and we built specialized tools that help us to achieve the KPIs of the clients. And if we're talking about the market, if you're talking about what is the space right now, a lot of people, this is the problem. People message a lot. People, from my perspective and from our understanding, people try to not to phone, and when it's possible, try not to send emails, try not to send any electronic communication other than messages. This is our understanding. This is what we speak with the companies, what we see from the user behaviors. And when we're talking about the automated messaging, there is obvious one for the company's internal. How much of you use oh my God, not Trello, but Slack? Everyone. So if you're talking about the inside the companies, it's Slack. So when we are talking about building a bot, a Slack is a very natural environment to build a bot and to serve internally for teams. But when we are talking about this connection between the company and the clients, when we're talking about this brand building and what people expect from the company, we are talking about WhatsApp, Messenger, Viber, WeChat, and so on and so on. And what is very funny and what is very important, that Messenger, Poland is one of the messenger heavens right now. No one knows why. No one knows really. When we talk with the Facebook, they don't really know why we are the messenger people. They know why we are not WhatsApp people, because WhatsApp was basically started when the SMSs, there was a smartphones, but the SMSs were still costly. That's why the WhatsApp have these parts very strongly. Of course, right now WhatsApp is also strongly in Poland and in other countries, but the Messenger is something very specific, because in Messenger we can send not only text, but we can send the like media information or additional images and so on and so on. So what we try to build, okay, let's start to build a chatbot, and then based on that and based on the clients, try to automate and give additional value in terms of automation. So we started with very simple bots. This is a bot, Jestem Franki. It's for Nickelodeon. It was quite stupid but effective bot, because disengage, it's not a good way, young girls into conversations. But what happened when we built the bot first time, and we tried to build on top of the already existing technology that gives the messenger, so multimedia, buttons, and so on and so on. And what we see here, that a lot of people try to write to Frankie, this girl, and try to build a relationship with her, talking about your after school time, what is happening with your free time, and so on and so on. So this is something that when we are interacting, and we interacted without any additional push from our side. So we interacted like, this is the bot, what will happen, will happen. And a lot of people, what is additional interesting, a lot of people create YouTube casts when they try to talk with the bot and post these YouTube talks, hey, I talked with the bot, and the bot sent me this wrong message. Because most of the cases we fail in understanding Polish language. In most of the cases, of course, we fail to be a human chatbot. But this is also a very interesting part, because as an engineer, we need to learn that not everything is perfect, but we can hack our way into creating a value. So this is something that I believe very strongly, and even that this sometimes is not perfect. And once again, please remember, we are very long, from my perspective, very long in terms of automated, like Google talking with real voice or real like human-like interface. But still, we can deliver a quite useful value to the customers. So this is something that is quite funny. This one is for understanding of jobs. So this is also the what we see right now. A lot of people are looking for the applicants. A lot of companies fighting for your time, for your applications. A lot of people try to use chatbots in terms of receiving a lot of different applications. Of course, there is, if we provide very simple interface for that, we can do a lot of value and give a lot of value, not exactly talking with the person, but after the understanding the language, we can provide classificators and we can provide a recommendation engine which will optimize the end result. Because in terms of the chatbot, it's not important that it will behave as a human. And it's important that it will solve 80% of the problems, and it will provide you to the sweet spot of the company. For example, leaving the CV. If you are willing to talk with the bot, probably you need to be switched into the real human. And most of these cases, when trying to say what is the value of life, what is the meaning of life, you will say, no, don't worry, we'll switch you to the real person. But the journey, what we find that 2 years ago, we got a lot of messages, a lot of historical messages from one of the companies, and they say, we need to build classificator based on that. And when we say, okay, we have text, we can, and it's in Polish, we can try to find a service that will help us to classify it externally. And this is our journey. So this is the Dropbox is one of the nice cases that they built their own drop Turk, so their own mechanical Turk extension. They didn't want to use mechanical Turk people because of the quality of the service, but they still wanted to expand and build tools to classify and to describe, annotate the content inside the Dropbox files. And this is, please read this blog post, because it's very interesting how they approach the problem. But the simplest case, if you have a lot of data and you don't want to share it outside, the simplest case, when we start, let's build our own software. Let's build our own solution that will classify or will help classify this task. And they did. So they built, this is the case, they built simple OCR that was validated by real humans. And then this is the result. But so they have like 882,000 tasks, so not a lot, but still they need to build So the developers is cheaper than data scientists, so it was easier for them to build a software solution to classify it. So when we approached the problem, we were talking about, okay, we need a solution that is scalable, so we can use the small sets and big huge data to annotate without a problem. So the next one is mobile first, because our problem was that not many people are willing to annotate when they're at home computer. Most of the cases they are using the tram or they are in the toilet and they just click. The next one is data privacy. So if we are talking about data annotation, we most think about to outsource it to using Odesk or some freelancers. We can send them a huge package and they will return annotated. This is also the problem because probably this data will be in the internet forever. So if you have a medical data or if you have some data that is under the NDA, it's not a solution for you. So you probably need to build your own. It's API ready because when we are talking about the data, it should be somewhere connected to our system. And data quality assurance, this is also the case. If we send a task to one person, how we can be sure that this person do this correctly? What will happen if they don't? Or if they have a bad day and they don't care about your problem? In terms of when we get the result, you will be building your model or your analysis on bad data from day one. So this is also not the case. So one of the solutions, if you are talking about English language and if you are talking about already using predefined models, is to use so Spacey have this. So this is the same guys who use Spacey. I don't know how to pronounce it. Spacey. So they build a Prodigy. This is a very simple tool. So you have, this could be a named entity recognition, or this could be anything from the Spacey portfolio, and you just have very simple yes, no, not recognized. The problem with this solution, it's quite costly. So this is for large organization, this is for the small development team, and this is for the private. So if you want to build your own team, this is and you don't want to spend a lot of money, this is not a good solution. But if you have English or similar Spacey supported languages, this is a very good solution to use on name entity recognition and to build the data. So everything has their downsides and advantages. So please remember. Okay, you can use Mechanical Turk. How many of you are familiar with Mechanical Turk? How many of you have used the Mechanical Turk? Okay, one person. So the problem, or the how to say, challenge with the Mechanical Turk, that you have very flexible solution to send the questions. So you send most of the cases you send them full HTML page, and on this HTML page you can do almost anything. The problem is that most of the people who use the Mechanical Turk optimize their time into as many hits as possible, as value hits as possible. So if you have a lot of data and you don't want really to pay much money, it's not a solution for you. If you have a data that after the first selection, you can also do other classification, other annotation, this is a very good case to just quickly put your data there. because they have a lot of people there. So the performance and the capability of Mechanical Turk right now is amazing. So they have quite good, and because this is most of the people are from not our time zone, at the morning you have the results. So this is something that it's very good for you, but still you need to fight about this measure. So how many time, what is the, you fight, you optimize to how many money you want to give, what is the, how many days you auto-approve. So every question which is solved you can approve. If you don't approve in the time, it's auto-approved, so they get money. Of course, if it's solved, you can look at this and say, okay, it's not good. You don't pay for that money, but you need to do it manually. So still, you need to have some kind of second screening of your data. Okay, this is something wonderful. So it's Cloud Factory. So, and you can set up how many people you want, and there is quite a nice effective hour rate, how many, what will happen. And the examples are here, so they can do anything about that, but they don't understand Polish language. So if you have a Polish data, like, no. And we tried it with the images, it works. But in terms of, if we are talking about being here and now, being in Poland, it's not a solution for us. It was not a solution for us. But I recommend this service if you are thinking about something that it's not Polish based, or you're okay with this hour rate, because it depends. Okay. This is something, this is like Utopia classify. So they claim that they have 47,000 developers that are right now using their service. There are a lot of already solved classifiers, so you can select if your classifier is public or not. There is a lot of languages, so you can, this is the examples. So every classifier or every API have their own languages that they support. The problem is that you still need to find people who will use the service, so you still need to build your own team. So if you're building your own team, in many cases you say, okay, this is something not suitable for us, and it was not suitable for us because the trustworthy of this site is like, okay, we'll see. But if you are thinking about using the classifiers, if you are looking for something, I would recommend you to go there and find if there is already a solved problem for you. Okay, this is the tools for the image. So all this was mostly about language. This is the very good, and I recommend you this one. It's open source, and there's a lot of adapters when you can convert your data from one point to another. So if you have time, please take a photo. Okay, so to sum up what we learned about our journey, there is no silver bullet. There is on the market, there is still some kind of the problem, and Polish is very hard. English is also hard, but Polish is even harder because you have flexions, you have lemma, and so on and so on. But what we managed to do, so of course a lot of failures and so on. What we managed to do in our case And what works for us? Voila, only API. So we have this internal tool that we are right now extending and allowing other people to use. This is very simple, so very simple kind of sending. This is like only the post request, so you can scratch that, create a job. It's a single HTTP post with these options. And if the item is solved, it calls back to you on your URL. So one of the solutions we use it when you go to the company and they say we have our own team. We still want to test with you some cases, but at the end our team will do the work. So they still can use this API. If they have, they say to us, okay, we don't have any people. There is a the data is under heavy NDAs. Then we have selected people that do internally in our company. Or we have also signed up with the people who do this for us, but understand Polish language. So when you're talking about the stats, in terms of these almost 2 years, we've done 6 million tasks. A lot, not a lot. 50 project that was not external, but was some kind of part of the chatbot, and 2,000 people available on demand in terms of how many we can do in one day. So this is something that I'm really proud of in terms of internal tool, and we will see what will happen in the future. That's quite fast and simple talk about our journey. Thank you.